Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the AgriCapitalist Podcast, where we talk about hidden treasures in plain sight. As it is my tradition, I want to say a big thank you to all of you that have been with us up to this very moment. You've been watching, you've been contributing, your words of encouragement. I say thank you. May God continue to bless you. May God bless you for me. May you keep increasing, may you keep prospering, may you keep growing. Today's episode we'll be talking about profitable farming practices for the agripreneurs. So if you remember in episode 11 where we talked about 7 common mistakes most farmers make, I made mention that you as a person going into agriculture, you are an agripreneur and your business is an agribusiness. Because we got to realize that working with the right mindset would ensure you get profitability from your agribusiness. So we dealt with all of those in episode 11. So if you haven't seen it, you should go and see it. It is very, very important. It will help you a lot. So today we are talking about profitable farming practices for the agripreneur. Let me say this. As I said in that episode, I just want to state it so we get to understand a bit of context before I drop today's value. You as a person going into an agribusiness, you are there for profit, right? You are going there with the intention to make profit from it. You are not going to do as our parents have done over the years. They are just going to do it haphazardly and then wait for miracle to happen. You are going to intentionally plan and execute your plan and ensure that you see your desired results at the end of the day. See, there are a lot of farming practices, and there is this one that we are familiar with, and it is called solo farming. Solo farming is when you are planting just one crop. So let me go back a bit so I can explain better so you understand. You as a agripreneur, right? After you've, like we said in that episode, after you've structured your investment clubs with others, right? Or you want to do it on your own, but I advise against it anyway. So after all that background process has been done, right? We talked about planning. You are now at the phase of planning your strategy for your agribusiness this season. There is the episode 14 where we talked about various crops. So we talked about long-term crops and short-term crops, mid-term crops. After you've done all of those things, now you are looking at the strategy to implement to ensure that you get the results you want to get. The goal of every farmer, of every agripreneur, is to get maximum profitability from their land. See, people that have been in business in the developed society that are into agribusiness, that is their goal, to ensure that they get maximum productivity. But they are doing it a lot to the detriment of our health. That's why they put a lot of fertilizers, they try a lot of techniques, a lot of things. That's where this GMO modified variety of seeds came from, right? To ensure that people get the most from what they are planting. So that is for you too. You are going into agribusiness. You want to ensure that you get the most from it. So this is a common one that most people are doing. It is called solo farming, where they just farm one type of seed. So if this year we are saying, okay, we want to go into farming, we want to farm sesame seed. I mentioned this in one of the episodes where I talked about we planted sesame seed, and then I talked about another episode where we planted maize and granules. So let's say we assume that, okay, this season we want to plant sesame seed, or we want to plant ginger, or we want to plant pepper, or we want to even plant cucumber for this season, right? We assess the land. We have already set up the land, done the preparation, everything. We are just going for cucumber alone. That is called solo farming. At the end of the day, we are going to get just cucumber from our land. But here is the thing. Here, let me say the advantage and I will say the disadvantage. The advantage of doing solo farming is this: you can get maximum profitability from one particular crop. So if that is your competitive advantage, let's say I'm the only person planting cucumber in this region, and I'm the only one planting cucumber, and my farm is just cucumber, I'll get the most from it, right? But here's the disadvantage of such practice. When you are doing cucumber alone, your cucumber you might experience a season where cucumber might not do well that season. There are means in which you ensure that at least you get the best from your land, which I'll keep sharing videos on that. But I'm just saying, we are not kidding ourselves, and I won't lie to you. There are times when you plant and you won't get the best from your farm that season. So the disadvantage there is, if you plant just solo, that cucumber alone, you might end up reaping very little, harvesting very little from your crop. So the risk is very high. So there is you getting the most profitability from one single crop, then there is the possibility of higher risk exposure. So that is something you should consider for people that are going into solo farming. But here is one profitable farming practice I like to suggest. I'm not saying it is the best, I'm just saying I like to suggest it for people that are willing to try it out. And this is a bit of disclaimer. I am not telling you to do it as I say it. You should go and do your own research. You should find value for yourself before you should make a decision. Like Jim Rohn said, don't be a follower, be a student. Hear what I've said, what I have to say. Go back and think about it. Do your own research. Okay, Vichy said this, Vichy said that. Okay, should I try this? If I try this, how is the result going to be before you jump into it? So enough of that. So I talked about solo farming, which is common. If you go throughout most people's farm, you will see it is just one crop they are planting. Then let me talk about another one. Another one is called intercropping. Intercropping is where you plant more than one crop, usually two crops, in the same land. That way now, most people are, like I said in the first option, which is solo farming. Intercropping, you are edging against the risk of one crop disappointing you, right? So why cucumber might want to disappoint me, I might intercrop with maize. Let me just give that as an example. I might intercrop with maize to ensure that, okay, why cucumber might disappoint me, maize will stand up for me. I made this example in the episode where I talked about our corn and groundnut not doing well. That is an intercropping. We planted corn grows upward, groundnut grows downward. You get, so they shared the space, unlike just planting corn alone. You understand? So there is the solo one, which is just corn, and there is corn and groundnut. At the end of the day, I'm going to get more profitability from the land, because while I am planting corn and getting profit from the land, it is, let me tell you how it is here. Let me give you a practical example. Every planting, like I said in episode 11, every seed, every crop that you are planting has the ideal spacing, right? So while you are planting, you might want to plant on ridges. It is most advised that you plant on ridges. Let's say you plant on ridges, right? So this roll now, this is a ridge. This is another ridge, and then the middle is called a gutter, right? Most people, what they do, this intercropping style is this. While there is corn here on these two ridges, you plant groundnut in between. You get, so while you land, ideally, if it was just solo farming, you would get, let's say the total land, you got 20 ridges, you get corn from just 20 ridges, right? But if you intercrop, you get 20 corn from 20 ridges, and then groundnut also from each of the gutters. Do you understand? That is the idea of the intercropping method. And here is the most profitable. It is called multi-layer farming. I talked about solo farming now, I talked about intercropping. The most profitable is called multi-layer farming. Multi-layer farming is where you plant different crops. It's more like intercropping, but it is a step above intercropping. You plant more than one crop. You plant crops in layers. What I mean is step by step. So what we are trying to achieve with intercropping is the horizontally the width of the land, the total space of the land it is occupied by using more than one crops. Multi-layer farming is we are taking it a bit higher. We are tapping into the vertical aspect of the land as well. You understand? Because your land has a fixed size, right? But the size upward is not fixed, right? It's to the sky. So we are taking from the ground, then from the up as well. So while solo farming is just taking just one place, it's just there. Intercropping is a step above solo farming, where you plant at the same time you get more than what you are supposed to get if you are done solo farming. Then intercropping is you get more than you are like. How will I explain it now so you understand? Intercropping is you layer your crops based on their height. So you get more value based on the crops you are planting, but now you are tapping into the vertical aspect of the land. Let me give an example so you understand what I'm trying to say. Let's say there is corn, there is groundnut, right? Groundnut grows inwardly, downward. Corn grows up, but corn has a fixed height, right? At the same time, in between corn and groundnut, you could plant something in between, right? Let me give an example of something you could plant in between. You could plant okra in between. You could plant, and it's a short crops that are not tall, so it doesn't compete with each other. You get, you can plant. We've talked about groundnut, we've talked about corn, we've talked about okra, right? At the same time, you could plant plantain or oil palm just by the boundary of your land. You can plant by the boundary of your land. Oil palm, they grow at least before it will take to the point where you can grow to the point where it's now ravaling your crop. It won't even ravel because the leaves, they are broad, they are very broad, and sunlight can pass through them. You understand? So either you are planting oil palm or you are planting plantain at the highest level of the layer. There is the tree crop, which is either the oil palm or the plantain, right? The layer beneath that you are planting your corn. Layer beneath that you are planting your okra. Layer beneath that you are planting your groundnuts. Do you get? So in the same land, instead of just planting 2 crops, you now have 4 different crops, and you can try it with different crops. I'm just giving that as an example. This is totally unscripted, so I'm not using a script. I'm just saying it from my own experience. So if I had actually done a proper presentation where I will show you slides and all of this, I would have given you a more detailed explanation to read. I'm just trying to see how I can communicate value. I hope you get it. So there is the idea of solo farming. I told you the advantage and the disadvantage, where you can get the most from just one crop, but at the same time you have the most risk of that crop not performing. Then the intercropping, it is an edge against solo farming. Instead of just planting one, you are now edging against the risk. Another crop can serve the purpose. While this one defaults, this one will perform. You get. Then there is multi-layer farming. That is the most profitable. It is the most profitable in the sense that the same land, while you are getting from this one, you are getting from this one, you are getting from this one, you are getting from this one. You understand? I hope you find value, and thank you for your time. Here is a bonus tip for those of us that have watched to this point. Here is a bonus tip for you. So we've talked about solo farming, we've talked about intercropping, we've talked about multi-layer farming. Here's a bonus tip for you. It is called crop relaying. Let me explain how this one works here. It is, if you master this strategy, it's going to help you a lot. Here's how it works here. Let's say you dug a ridge, right? and you planted, we use the example of corn, right? You planted corn as the primary crop. You intercrop with groundnuts, for instance, right? You at the edges, at the boundary of the land, you planted 3 crops, as a means of multi-layering, right? We talked about the part where you even had okra to it, to the corn. So as a bit of, it's like this now. The groundnut, the cucumber, the groundnut, the corn, the example I gave, the tree crop, right? Now on the ridge, here is what you will do. After you've harvested from the ridge, corn normally takes period of 3 to 4 months, right? So after you've harvested the corn from the ridge, you are going to plant on the same ridge. What is advised that you do? What I would advise that you do is plant legumes or plant cover crops. Plant legumes. I would advise you plant legumes on that same land. Plant beans on that same land, right? So as you've harvested, right, pending when you will go to start working on the land again, the land will not just be left fallow. You get the point? So the point is this: while you've dug your ridge, you've planted, you've harvested, right? The land will be fallow until the season again, when you come and do your land prep again and start arranging your land, setting it up for farming again. You won't leave it fallow. You should plant another seed, a legume on it. So pending when your farming season starts again for you, you'll be by the time you want to start again, you'll be harvesting again. You understand? It is called crop relaying. And this is another one for those of us that are still with me to this very point. It is called staggered planting. This one is for people that are planting crops that perish very fast. Staggered planting is when you plant crops, right? So let me give an example. Let's say pepper. You're planting pepper. Pepper perishes very fast, right? So instead of just planting, let's say I have 1 acre of land now. I'm planting only pepper. I'm using the solo cropping. Planting only pepper. Pepper. If I plant pepper all at once, chances are the fruits all at once. They will start producing all at once. And if I don't sell all of them at once, they will get to a point where I'm now start having post-harvest losses, right? But the staggered planting is this: instead of just planting them all at once, delay the planting. Plant this region, then let's say next week plant this region, or 2 weeks from then plant another region. Just delay it a bit. See, that's when you've stretched it. So while this one is producing now, this one will take, let's say, a week or to a month to produce. So it'll take another, you understand? You staggered it. So that is for you that have stayed to this point. I will keep adding bonus tips. So for those of us that are just flipping through, that are just clicking and flipping through, you've missed it, right? So thank you. That is for me. That is me saying thank you for your time. Thank you so much. I'll try as much as I can to keep providing value. So the time that you are wasting, you are spending watching me won't be for nothing. God bless you. And if you are new here, please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.